afternoon. This is Ralf Friedrichs from the Take Back Your Life show. With us again for a second try is Brandon Waipa from Alaska, Bethel, Alaska, and I just want to welcome you, Brandon. How are you today?
Good. How are you, Ralph?
Good. So last week we had a similar situation. The only difference is that it didn't turn out too good as far as technical difficulties. So I figured let's try this again, and hopefully people will be able to understand what both of us really had to say. But at least we got to see you and how good you look. I mean, you look excellent. It's unbelievable.
Thank you, Ralph. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's all dedication, desire, whatever, matters, and, you put it all together and you're pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah. I mean, it's what a transformation. One of my websites is called Clear Reform for Reformation, and you're an example of that, how you can transform from one to another. I mean, unbelievable.
Thank you so much, Ralph. It's so nice to know in heart that there are people out there, including you, that are very moved by my lifestyle and my life story. That's what it's all about. It's to contribute and to be of service, to everyone out there in this beautiful universe that we live in. Because I'm not going to know the billions of people that live and occupy this entire world we live in, but it's the least I could do is to express and share what I'm all about, and just reaching out and touching people out there.
And you are doing that. You're definitely touching people. Since we spoke last week, before I ask you the questions that I asked you last week, but since we spoke, this morning I posted a video that I saw on Facebook. I shared it, actually, somebody else had posted. And I thought about something that you and I discussed, which is how we are role models within our own home. And I don't know if you got to see the video I shared.
Yes, I did. I've seen that video before, and when I saw it again yesterday after you posted it always, it's always such a powerful message, and I stand at 100%, behind that. It's basically, it's a mirror. It is. It's a mirror of what our young generation are looking at, and they're going to repeat it, exactly, what they see in the home. Exactly. I definitely was very touched and moved. It was a great reminder because I did see that video clip some time ago.
Right.
Thank you so much for posting that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about that. You and I discussed this. Before we get a little further, I'd like for you to just give us your website and tell us about where you live and stuff like that. I mean, no street address by all means, but just mention how Bethel. I mean, I know what it's like because I've worked there, but the audience doesn't. But let them know about your website, because I do urge my audience, please go to his website. It is an inspiration to see from, and I hate to use the word soup to nuts, but that's really what it comes from, where he started, where he is today. It's unbelievable. And he is an example that it's never, ever too late to start over, whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually. As long as you never, ever give up, there is always hope. So, Brandon, just give us your website and tell us a little bit about Bethel, Alaska.
Okay, so my website is www.brandonwaipa.com. It's basically my full name, BrandonWaipa.com. So yes, I moved to Bethel, Alaska in 1998, and I came with a passion to get out of debt. Before I moved to Bethel, Alaska, I was born and raised in Hawaii all my life. And so I came up here with no idea what I was getting into. Currently now for the last 13 years, I work for the state of Alaska in the Health and Social Service under the Division of Juvenile Justice as a youth counselor, / correctional officer.
Yeah, great. And that's I don't want to put it in a way, but that's one of the reasons I contacted you also to speak to you. Besides that, you're a friend, and I've been following you for quite some time now. But the experience that you carry in the juvenile system, because I would guess that the majority of people coming in there probably a small crime people, but mostly for drugs and alcohol. Isn't that correct?
Yes, yes, definitely. That it is. It's like almost 95 to 99%. Yes, drug and alcohol related, and it all ties very well into it.
Right. So, as many youngsters in Alaska hear everything there is to hear about alcohol and other drugs from friends and their brothers and sisters or young, family, why do you think, I realize this is just based on your opinion and what you actually do with it, but why do you think that the addiction is so alarmingly high? What do you think could be causing that?
Well, there's so many ways to look at this. This is a very controversial question, and I always start with the environment. Back to like your video. When you start as growing up as a young child, going into your teenager, and then your young adult, and then your adult. It's all on what you're being exposed to. The supervision or the environment or the peer pressure or things like. And we're talking 24-hour constant environmental changes from your home to your school or to your outside of the home to your friends or family. All that plays a huge role on what is being calculated in a young child's mind on what is going to be acceptable or what is going to be unacceptable. I mean, there's just so much things going on, and not to even mention the media that we have nowadays on the TV, the music, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of influences out there, and some of them can be very misleading, very misleading.
I agree. And you know what? This is not just for juveniles now, but peer pressure. Whether you're an adult, whether you're a child, whether you're just, for an example, you could be in the gym and you might be pressured when you see somebody else doing better than you to actually shoot for more. And the same goes with drugs and alcohol. When you see your friends doing it, you might end up wanting to do it. And I'm assuming, with your experience, you probably see a lot of peer pressure down there too, right? Up there.
Absolutely, yes. I have experienced pressure all my entire life, even to this day, even up to last night. Yes, it's life. It is. You can't deny it, you can't avoid it. That it will be there in front of you.
Yeah.
The only thing that you have power with the whole surrounding it, how you choose to deal with this moment or this, this challenge that comes up right in front of you. If it is a challenge or whatnot, it's how you take that and what you're going to do with it.
Right, exactly. And you know what? You actually put a little pressure on me, believe it or not. I slowed down eating candy because I look at you and I'm like, my God, he's really doing well. And that's an example of peer pressure, because you and I are somewhat like peers, and when I see somebody doing so well physically, it makes me want to do better for myself. So I thank you for that.
Oh yes, you're very welcome, and thank you for sharing that. It's good to know, and it's good to always hear that. It just gives me more energy, and it gives me more desire to continue this. It just becomes the fuel, the FUEL fuel.
Yeah.
That inspires my life to continue to inspire.
Well,
yes.
My wife and I just went to our daughter's graduation. She just graduated from RN school, and there was a speaker who said something, and I just wanted to mention this to you. This particular statement, you probably heard on my last two videos, but reach to teach and reach to preach. Think about those words, reach to teach. So you reach out to teach other people, and you reach out to preach. And when I say preach, I don't mean spiritually. Just preach. It could be physically, how to take care of your body. But those words are pretty strong. Reach to teach, reach to preach,
Absolutely. It's all about living by an example. It's all about role modeling,
Right.
It's all about, not trying to be the hypocrite, exactly, and to me it's really important because, you may be able to manipulate and fool people out there in the world, but there's two people you will never be able to fool, and that's yourself and your higher power.
Yeah.
And you have to live with that. You got to ask yourself, did I really do the right thing? Was my integrity 100% genuine? Was my honesty out there? Was everything pure? And if you can close your eyes before you go to bed on that day when you realize this is it, my day is over with, I'm ready to go to bed, you ask yourself the question. And if it's not, you have a lot of unsure or a little uncertainty, then I encourage, make changes. Do it. Do what you said that you didn't do. I mean, go ahead and do it. Don't go to sleep. Do it. You know,
Exactly.
whatever it is that you gotta do. Because when you wake up the next day, if you're allowed to wake up the next day, then you can at least say that, hey, you know, I gave it all I got. You know, this is all I have. This is all I, you know, have in me, and I gave it everything. I gave it my best. I gave it 100%.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. You know, for some of the juveniles, whether it's in the correction facility you work, or it could even just be in the school systems in Alaska, they've already seen firsthand dangers of alcohol and drugs and the damage that can be done to individuals, to their relationships with their friends and families. Are they better off firsthand knowledge than the ones that don't know anything about drugs and alcohol at all? What do you think?
You know, it can be yes and no, you know, because again, you know, we go back to the exposure, the upbringing, you know, the child, you know, child's eyes, you know, it all depends how are they being educated. And to some, by the time they try to get educated, whether it's at school or whether it's at you know, for maybe like a treatment, center or things like that, it may all be new to them, you know, because the damage is already done.
Yeah.
You know, and for them to process on it's almost like learning a foreign language, you know, and someone would think, well, there's nothing wrong with me with this alcohol that I'm living, whether we see it as abuse or not. They just may not even have a clue that it's very destructive.
Exactly.
You know, because there's responsible drinking, and then of course there's irresponsible drinking. But
right.
The fact is, it is alcohol, and you know, and the thing is, it is not against the law when you hit a certain age, things like that. So, I mean, so this is where it's so controversial, and of course, you know, yes, if as far as you know what your question said, yeah, it's a very serious matter. It is.
After you and I spoke last week, I had somebody actually send me a comment because they heard us talk about something. They had a question for you because I had mentioned that I would talk to you again. So here's the question. Up in Alaska, you use snow machines more than cars, especially in the rural villages. Bethel, obviously, you have a lot of cars. But this person wants to know, can a person be arrested or charged with drinking and driving a snowmobile?
I actually believe they can. It can be reckless, you know, machine and stuff. I'm not sure how it falls in exactly the charges and stuff like that, but yes, definitely you can because it is no difference from a vehicle. It is a vehicle.
Yeah.
Snow machine, ATVs, boats, you know, during the river, you know, that's their main way of travel in the rural area. You're correct. There's very few cars in other surrounding villages around Bethel, Alaska, to almost no cars, and, you know, those things, yes, those can be just as accountable equally, yes.
Right. And there was one other comment that somebody had sent to me, and then I'll get back to the questions, but I didn't want to forget about this. This was a question for you. Somebody had says, could you please ask Brandon, why doesn't he create his own Power in Alaska fitness program on television?
Wow. It never crossed me yet, but I mean, I'm not saying that it's impossible, you know, and I'm not saying that I'm unreceptive. I'm very receptive to anything that's possible, and you know, that's something that I am very interested in considering now that you brought it up.
Well, you know what, Brandon? I think what people are basing it on is because being that, for whatever reason, Alaska is almost considered a foreign area to the lower 48. But more importantly, is that when they had the Wings of Alaska, you remember the airplane show? People are
you know,
just.
I've heard of it, but you know, I don't have television anymore. But I hear bits and pieces from my coworkers. They talk about it.
Yeah, what it's based on, it's just bush pilots. So people are fascinated when there's a successful story coming out of Alaska because they don't realize that you guys are just like us and all that. They think, you know, it's totally different. But this particular person, and this person's name was John, he's fascinated by I guess he must have got to your website and heard us talking and saw your transformation, and so that's something to consider down the road for yourself, you know.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I'm very, yeah, I'm so excited to hear that. That's awesome.
How about instead of the biggest loser, you can call it the coldest winner or something, you know?
Yeah.
All right, just a couple more questions, okay? I don't want to keep you because I know you have a busy schedule. And I've asked you these questions, but we didn't get to hear them last week, the answer. So I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but this is for the audience to hear. So.
No, please, by all means, don't be sorry. Yes, please, fire away.
Okay, just from your experience, and when I say your experience, not your personal experience with drugs and alcohol, just your experience being around juveniles, do you think marijuana use can lead to other drugs?
Absolutely. I believe they can. They all tie into substance abuse. I mean, as a working in the facility, we noticed that a lot of triggers, and they all connect. And so, not only just marijuana, but other drugs as well, and of course alcohol. And of course, I'm sure that you're aware that several weeks ago they recently voted on legalizing marijuana. I'm not sure on the whole details on what exactly that means, but it looked like it was a green light on a majority vote.
Yeah, I did hear about it because I do follow ADN, which is the Alaska Daily newspaper, and
Yes.
I am I should say I'm not shocked, but I am shocked. I don't know what the world's coming to. People are thinking that by legalizing drugs and alcohol, it won't be in demand. My interview I had with Dr. Luis Gonzalez, he had said that legalizing drugs and alcohol is not going to help this country. The only way to help the country is by educating and coming up with stiffer penalties. But at what point did we finally give up,
Yeah, and I agree with you. It is all about educating. Educate, a lot of people automatically think it's school. Well, educate, if I'm not mistaken, I think it comes from the Greek word to draw out, to draw
Wow.
knowledge, to draw out, and so, yes, so, educate is a very, very powerful, word, and it also definitely has to be applied. I recommend that it has to be applied 24/7 in your life.
Exactly. Question: do you think young people can get addicted even though they're only using it every once in a while? This is not based on anything other than what you see in your own job and your village. And actually, Bethel's not a village. Let me retract that because it's huge for the listeners. Bethel is like the hub. It has tons of taxi cabs. That I can tell you.
It's funny you brought that up. I gotta add to this that I believe we are the nation's biggest taxi cab per capita. So
wow.
There was an article on that we actually have the highest taxi cab per capita in Bethel, Alaska.
Yeah, and that's unbelievable because like my wife and I were in New York City yesterday, and there are cabs everywhere. But I remember Bethel. I could always get a cab if I had to go to Swanson's or if I had to go wherever. But do you think that by trying marijuana or drugs that they can get addicted to it?
Yes, I believe they can because, for one, these things were created as, in my opinion, it was created as to make you feel better. Supposedly, like a cure, a medicine, or of course that's why it's called a drug.
Right, exactly.
And that's why they go to it and they think it works. So yeah, it becomes it becomes part of your daily lifestyle.
Exactly. I have a couple more questions, and I do have to mention something that I spoke to Dr. Gonzalez about. Actually, kind of has something to do with you, but we'll get to that in a minute. But here are three more questions. Why is age of first use of alcohol and drugs so critically important, especially in Alaska? In other words, the sooner they start, I think the more chances are, the earlier they start, the more chances they have of becoming addicted. What do you think?
Yes, I do. And as far as when you say it earlier, I know we discussed. I said this last week, and I'll say it again. In a psychology class States, they talked about how a child from the ages of birth to the age of 4, that they will already develop 50% of their habits, their attitude, or what they like to call it is programmed. Program meaning that, just like when you put a program in the computer is going to keep doing it because it's programmed to do that and nothing else. So basically, you're creating 50% of your life habits, attitude, decision making, all of that.
Right.
And then from the age of 4 to the age of 18, you're adding 20 to 30% more. And if you look at the age difference from 4 to 18, that is 14 years that it takes to just add 20 to 30% more versus from the birth year to age 4, in 4 years, you added 50%.
Wow.
And then after the age of 18, you fill in the blank, which is the last 20%, which is from that to the day you pass away. Pretty much it's growing with age. And to me, that's really, really, really serious when they talk about how the brain works that way, because it's developing, it's already accepting sounds, pictures, words, intakes into the body, whether it be food or chemicals, and it's already processing, and it's going to say, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, and this is what I accept, and this is what it's going to be like, and it's already molding you as a character, and it becomes part of you, and it stays with you, and then, the toughest challenge is when you surrender and realize that I need to make some changes.
Right.
And that's where it becomes such a challenge when you break habits. And everybody knows that habits are very hard to break. For, like myself, being at age 42 years of age, and let's say I've been doing this for the last 40 years, and then I have to break the habit. It's not going to happen overnight like a light switch.
Yeah, that's very well said. Very well said. Thank you for sharing that. Should a parent in Alaska be concerned about prescription drugs when the real problem is illegal drugs like cocaine, heroin, and meth? Do you think that they need to worry about if they have painkillers in their medicine cabinet or any addictive prescription drugs also?
That is something I never really got into, but, I am just very anti drugs and alcohol and tobacco. Meaning that if it's causing, if it's wrecking your life, then I don't, support it. I don't support the person to continue it. So as far as trying to find an alternative, it's really hard because on the alternative, you don't know if it's really about the money. You don't know if it's really about a business. You don't know where it is. If it's really about helping the individual with the needs. It's
Right.
really, really difficult because, because politics gets involved as well. And you and I both know for many years, is it really another scheme to make extra income, or is it really about helping, or is it just, basically minimizing?
Exactly. And you know what? This is on a personal side note for me. When I mean, I was an alcoholic, and the doctor gave me an option when I went to him, and I opened up and I told him what my problem was, and I told him that I quit drinking. At that point, I was maybe 1 week into it, and he said, "Well, listen, I can give you a prescription drug that will actually counteract alcoholism. In other words, you take this drug, you take it, and every time you have something to drink, it'll make you want to throw up." But my point here is that I don't believe that a doctor should give you another drug to eliminate another drug. I think if you have the will, the desire to quit, you should do it on your own. And I did deny the drug from the doctor. I did it on my own.
Exactly, and you couldn't have said it any better, because then you just replace another potential addiction with another potential addiction.
Exactly, because I do know people that maybe quit doing cocaine and crack and are taking painkillers like they're going out of style. And to me, that's the same thing. You're just on a different drug now. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the word addiction has nothing to do with the let's look at from a health factor. When they say, well, if you drink alcohol, you're gonna ruin your liver, you're gonna ruin your impaired speech and vision and all that, and hearing and stuff. But and then they give you this drug supposedly that's supposed to cure that, that's going to make you vomit and whatnot. Again, so now maybe your liver is being okay, and maybe you're not being so much impaired as you normally are. But again, you're being dependent. You're depending on something that's not from you. And, so the best thing for to cure all these problems within yourself is yourself. That's your cure right there. You make changes. You have to literally admit and surrender that only I can do this. Not a drug, not some miracle needle or things like that. It's all from you. It has to come from within you.
It is.
And
yeah.
that's the way it's always been done. But again, do we educate our people about these kind of lifestyle techniques? Do we educate our society to be dependent on ourselves individually versus being dependent on medical or other technologies? I mean, look at everybody. You and I can go way back in the 70s where you want to flip a channel, you have to get off your couch or your chair, change the channel, and go back and sit down. Oh, it's not loud enough, or it's too loud. You get back up there, and you turn down the volume, turn up the volume. You have to move. You have to think. You have to generate all those mechanisms, those cognitive, all those stuff in your brain, and it was healthy because you're firing up everything in your body to think and to make decisions versus now everything is all in the palm of your hand, and you sit there and you just flip and press a button and okay, we're good. And it's like, wow, we are not designed to sit and be dormant, and that's where I feel this world is going to. We're going to be so dormant that we forget that we even exist.
You're absolutely right. And you know what? I always say this is that you need to include your higher power. It doesn't matter who your higher power. In my case, it's God, but you need to include your higher power because you wouldn't be in the predicament, whatever your life story is. If your life is crumbling and all, you obviously can't handle it on your own. And I always say, no matter what your higher power is, your higher power means hope. There is hope by believing in something that's stronger than you are that can help you. And that's really what it comes down to.
Yes.
Last question, and then I just want to share real quick with you what I thought about for you. But why do you think some people become addicted while others don't? I mean, that's just a question.
Why do people become addicted and why others don't?
Yeah, why do you think the reason might be?
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a very nice. That's a very good one. Why do people become addicted? Maybe to fill in something that's missing. Maybe there's a void, possibly. Maybe they're questioning: is this okay? Is this an acceptable lifestyle? Maybe it could be a lot.
Yeah.
It could just,
It definitely could be. I mean, I thought about this question and I compared it to me, and the only thing I came up with for me, why, is weakness. That's the only word I can come up with, weakness, because I was weak.
Yeah.
I was weak and I gave in. But are you still there?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, I heard a beep. So anyway, Dr. Gonzalez, I'm not sure if you know what he's about, but he has a business, like me. He's an addiction recovery coach, but he also turns people into coaches. That's how I went to his school online. But he also now just recently picked up another part of his business through the court system. And this is where I thought about you. The courts actually send people to him for anger management. And I thought about you because he is a motivator and all. And I said to myself, I have to, on air, mention this to you because you remember you and I spoke and I said to you, when you're done with the correction facility, I think your life plan is to be more involved or continuously be involved, motivating the younger people, motivating other people. And I said, you should really look into this down the road, possibly going through some kind of course that's very quick and minimum because you have so much experience, you have so much motivation already. You just need that certification to have a career after your career. But I wanted to bring that up to you because Dr. Luis Gonzalez and I were talking about the new court stuff, and that's something right down your alley,
And again, thank you so much for sharing that and discussing that, because when you brought that up last week when we spoke, and it wasn't really something that I have put some thought into, but of course, I never really spoke with anyone about it.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing it from you just gave me more assurance that, I believe this is my calling. I really believe this is what I was put into this world for, was to help and to inspire and to motivate and support, and to be the stepping stone, or hey, I mean, all I did was point to the direction. I didn't force you to take that first step. Basically, I was just there saying, hey, if this is what you want, there it is, and I'm right here supporting you 100%. But it's all you, it's all you, and that's why you have to take ownership, and you have to definitely pat yourself on the shoulder, which a lot of people I feel now they have a very difficult time doing that, which I myself am guilty of as well. Is to pat myself on the shoulder sometimes and say, hey, I did good today, didn't I? Having those nice self-talks to yourself, and just own that, and not to come across from bragging or conceitedness or to put yourself above others, but basically just saying that, hey, you know what, you were the man today, wife, but you did great today, you own that, you be proud of that, because your heart was in the right place, your heart wasn't for glory, to brag and all that, your heart was there because you wanted someone to overcome a weakness, to put a smile on somebody's face, or to give them that word hope. Exactly. That's what it comes down to. And you take ownership of that, Waipa. You don't you ever forget that you have it in you, because the bottom line is you care.
That's right.
You care so much.
And that's why I think, I think that you would be excellent. You got to remember, a recovery coach is a life coach. We're not therapists. We're not counselors. What we do is we talk about today and tomorrow. We don't care what happened yesterday. It's about motivating today, and we just bring out the answers that people already have within them. It's your job just to bring it out. And I'm telling you right now, at your end point, which is your career in the correction facility, should be your starting point of your new career. And the reason I use that word starting point, because Dr. Luis Gonzalez, and I'm a graduate from startingpointmn.com. And what that is, and I just want to give him a plug real quick, you'll actually do webcams with him from your home, and he'll actually, once you pass his course, certify you. And then you can actually go out there, and I'm talking to you directly, Brandon. You'll be able to go out there and already display what you have, which is you have compassion, you have emotion, you have motivation. But now you can do it with a certification and make a whole new career, and I guarantee you, you will be so good at it. And that's what I had to say. But it's www.startingpointmn.com. The MN stands for Minnesota. So
Okay, got it.
So you definitely have to look into that, and I'm always here for support, because you teach me every day to keep going just by looking at you. You're an inspiration, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time again to do this interview, and I hope you become a regular guest on our show.
You bet. I love to be a regular guest. Anything that I can do to help, anything that I can do to be of service, Ralph, I'm in there, no matter what. I will make time. Yes, I am very busy, but that's what keeps me going. A busy schedule is better than a no schedule in life.
You're absolutely right. And, Brandon, I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on again. And I hope to hear from you real soon again. And if you have any other questions for me, I'd be more than happy to ask if you have any questions whatsoever. Otherwise, I hope you're a guest soon again.
You bet. Anytime, Ralph. Thank you so much for having me over. It's very wonderful, and it's very inspiring to just know that, making a friend from all the way across the other side of the nation.
That's right.
I can imagine that where this is going to go even further, that, we're going to definitely connect with other people, lifestyle, and, it's one heart at a time, one hoop at a time in a person's life.
Brandon, you have a calling. Don't forget that. You have a calling. There's going to be bigger and better things coming your way even after your career as a officer in the court system or the correction facility. I think, personally, that you have a long career coming ahead of you. It's just a matter of you just grabbing the bull by the horns and running with it.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah. Well, hold on one second, Brent. What'd you say? Hold on. Oh, my wife just came to me. She wants to order one of your T-shirts. What do we need to do to order one?
Okay, so I tell you what, you don't have to order them. I'll just send them to you folks. That's compliments from me. But I am changing up the shirts because we have a new logo and a new design that's in the making right now. So it's going to be a surprise.
Okay.
I need to actually take down the store off my website because it's going to be outdated soon. So I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to say don't order shirts, but if you guys, and this is for anyone else who's going to listen on this as well, on your blog as well.
Yeah.
But we have new designs coming out, and we have put a lot of work into it, and we're working on coming out with a perfect slogan and a perfect role model message as well to go with the slogan that represents, my blog, which is pretty, again, my beautiful life. And again, it's all about, like we talked about, about sharing, inspiring, and motivating. And so, hang on for a little bit. As far as just hang on a little bit.
It's funny. Your title is My Beautiful Life, and my title is Take Your Life Back. And both titles can end up with an ending. All right.
You just might give me another idea. I like it, Ralph.
Yeah, both can. Yeah, you better copyright that before I grab it. I'm kidding you.
That's awesome, man.
All right, listen. When you have the T-shirts out, let me know. So, happy wife, happy life for me.
Yes, absolutely. We only have one life. That's all we have.
That's it.
Life in the other, the next life.
That's it. And just plug your website one more time for the audience, please.
Okay, again, www.brandonwaipa.com. All right.
There you go. Thank you very much, Brandon. And I will definitely touch base with you, and we'll do another show sometime, okay?
You bet. Thank you so much. You guys have a beautiful day, and happy Thanksgiving to all you guys and everyone else listening on this blog. Welcome along from Alaska.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, folks. Thank you very much for listening today. That was Brandon Waipa from Bethel, Alaska. The funny thing is that one of the reasons I got to know him was I spent a lot of time in Bethel, Alaska myself, working in the optical field. That was actually a hub. And then we started following him because, folks, if you go to his website, which is www.brandonwaipa.com, you will see a person that transformed from, and I'm not going to say huge, what I'm going to say a husky person to a very good shape person. And what it really comes down to, folks, is dedication. And it comes down to something that I say all the time, and it's to never, ever give up. Because as long as you keep going, no matter what your goal might be, it could be spiritual goal, it could be physical goal, it could be addiction recovery goals. No matter what your goal you're setting, you need to have an action plan, and you need to follow that action plan by the T. But you can always sidetrack a little bit, but your goal is your goal. You can never forget what your goal is. And during your march towards that goal, you're going to find levels of stress, you're going to find triggers, you're going to find whatever. The object is to never ever give up on your goal. Because the minute you give up, you need to start all over again. And that's okay if it does happen. If you have to start all over again. But obviously, the main thing is to never have whether it's in the addiction recovery, a relapse. You don't want to have that. Whether it's in the gym, you don't want to suddenly start eating 20 boxes of Twinkies or Ring Dings or whatever. If you have a goal set, you need to follow it and follow it strictly and never ever give up on your goal. But that was Brandon. So, like I said, all the years that I worked up in Alaska, I started following him, and then my wife started following him. But he is an inspiration. I hope each and every one of you guys go to his website, www.brandonwaipa.com. That's BRANDONWAIPA.com. Go and leave a comment. Let him know that you heard him on Take Your Life Back show with Ralf Friedrichs. Let him know that, and make sure you order one of his T-shirts. He has T-shirts out, but he's redesigning them. But his slogan is "All Right," and it's a great slogan. So order one of his T-shirts, folks. Let the sunshine into your heart and your home. And I guarantee you, you will have nothing but positive results. And remember, sober today, also, I guarantee you, will give you a better tomorrow. Stay away from the negativity. There are people that are out there that might tell you no good. People might say that you're worth nothing. Stay away from those people, because those people that are telling you those things are usually the ones that have self-esteem issues, that might have problems in their own, and they feel better by knocking you down. But when somebody tries to knock you down, stand straight up, reach for the stars, and just keep walking straight forward. Have a great day, but more importantly, have a sober day, and God bless you.